Previously on Revive Nations with Shyju Mathew.
Tell your flesh, you are not my boss. You are not my light tower. You are not my lighthouse. You are not my compass. You are not my GPS. You are not how I know what is good for me. Because flesh cannot tell me what is good for me. Only the Spirit can.
Revival's in the air, touching nation, one life at a time.
Majority Christians can escape being deceived by kindness, escape being deceived by rest, escape being deceived by affection. Up to here, all the Christians are like, no, I'm dying for Jesus. But what happens next? Can you handle what happens next? All right, can we go on? Yes. But Naomi, turn back my daughters. Now she goes from requesting to command. Oof. Turn back my daughters. So some of you are thinking, why would a mentor do this? Why would a mentor who is supposed to take me into my destiny stop me from that? Isn't she supposed to say, no, guys, Ofra, listen to me, this is a trap. Come with me. Isn't she supposed to have convinced me to go into my destiny? Yet what she's doing is the opposite. But I've said this before. This is a true sign of a mentor. That when you follow them, it is never because of him manipulating you to follow him. In order for him to be a true mentor, he has to turn you away from himself. So when you follow him, it is your choice. It is out of understanding. You see that Elijah with Elisha, he keeps coming and saying, yeah, go home, I'm done. I'm leaving, I have a very important assignment. But Elisha said, as the Lord liveth. If a pastor today comes and says, I think the Lord is releasing you to start your own ministry, don't listen to him. It's a trap. Some of you are so selfish, ambitious, you're waiting for, oh God, give me a confirmation through the man of God. No, he's crying. The man of God said that and went back and cried about it. And you thought it was a confirmation. It's one kingdom. You don't divide and build. You are sent out and build. You still remain part. That's right. Some of you say, yeah, but Jesus, even Jesus did that. When they came and said, by the way, these disciples, they have been leaving you and following somebody else. You know what Jesus said? Do you also want to go? How come Jesus didn't say, guys, look into my eyes. Keep your eyes on Jesus. No, Jesus said, do you also want to go? Like he made it easy for them to leave him. So I don't believe in our pastors saying, this is the only church you can go. No. Sometimes some people bless you with their presence and others bless you with their absence. Are you following what I'm saying? That is the sign whether it is a true relationship. When God comes and says, this fruit you eat, you die. This fruit you eat, you live. He's saying, don't touch that. And he doesn't put a fence around it. He doesn't put a guard around it. And he walks away, giving you the full freedom to turn against him. That's when you know you are loved and you're trusted. When he gives you the knife and you have the opportunity to betray, you know you are truly trusted. That's what he did with Judas. He knew Judas was a betrayer and he still appointed him and made him sit next to him. That's the nature of God. Are you following what I'm saying? So look at her response. She's saying, now this is an instruction. Turn back my daughters. Most people say, I really wanted to follow him, but he really scolded me. Therefore, I leave. Are you listening to what I'm saying? What excuse will the enemy use to take you away from walking with God? Oh, I was really a Jesus lover until what? There is freedom to do what you want. It's up to you. It's up to you. The best way to avoid sin, you ready for this? Yes. Is when you know that you can do it. And this will not even, you can even repent, and in 2 days you can get back to God, and still you choose to not do it. It's not the sin that you don't do because you're afraid of hell. It's a sin that you don't do because you have now understanding that this is going to harm you. That's real victory. When you know you can watch something and then repent and then you don't watch it, that's when you know you have real victory in your spirit. Versus somebody who is not watching it because you're afraid you won't go to heaven and you'll be left behind. Freedom is not free. Turn back, my daughters. Why will you go with me? See, should have picked it up. What Naomi was looking is like, give me a reason why I should let you come. They didn't catch it. He's asking, why will you go with me? Give me a reason. I want you to help me understand what your understanding is. And then she now pushes it. She says, have I yet sons? In other words, she's saying that I have nothing more to offer to you. In other words, she's saying that there is a group of people that will follow me only because I have sons to give them. But the moment they realize that this place, there is no more opportunities, then they leave church. This place is no more beneficial to me. They won't call me deacon, deaconess. They are not promoting me. I've been here for a long time. They've not been using me. I have not got a chance to prophesy. I'm spot on. That's when they exit. Because they realize, they can't get their way. Now they'll say, I disagree with the theology. And you ask them about the theology, they can't even defend. They won't even sit down with you and talk about it because they know. So can you find when the enemy is trying to deceive you from your location? Opportunities. If there is no more healing, will you still stay? If you'll never get healed anymore and you're crippled and you're going to heaven crippled, will you still stay? If you don't get another prophecy, everybody in this ministry got a prophecy and you've been really, really desiring for a prophecy and you never got one, will you still say? What Naomi is saying is like, my daughters, I have no more prophecy to give you. Go back. So the ones that came for the gift will leave when the gift is over. But ones who came for the gift giver, they remain long after the gift is exhausted. I have what? No more sons, my God. And then he says, in my womb. In other words, she's saying that I number one, I don't have anything already in my resources, and I also don't have a working womb. Meaning I don't have the capability to produce anymore. So it's not just a fact that I don't have anything in my resources. He's saying that even if I want to try to help you, I am unable to help you. It seems like a perfect reason for us to part ways. Are you following what I'm saying? Many people will be okay if there is no prophecy for you now. Because you're like, there's a bunch of people that don't get a prophecy. But what happens when you really have a need for a prophecy and you don't get one? That's when your faith is tested. You really need this miracle for your father who is dying. And you write an email and you pray a prayer and you're declaring and decreeing, and then your father dies. There's no more production possibility. When there is no more miracles that is coming for you, will you still be rooted in Jesus? Some of you are thinking that this is not applicable to you, but you'll be shocked. What happens when something happens to your little boy and you really want God to now produce a miracle and the womb is no more producing? And God is saying, trust me with this. Trust me even in your barrenness. Trust me even in your lack of miracle. May you be saved from the end time deception. So I genuinely had a concern. I said, what happens to a church that has seen miracle signs and wonders? Is that they're so used to signs and wonders that right now the enemy can use that as a trap to deceive them. Because there was this one miracle that you really, really, really hoped that you would get married. You really, really, and then you realize, may the Lord save you from deception. Too old. In other words, she's saying that time is not on my side. Most people will be okay until this moment, when time works against them. You'll be shocked when time works against them. When you feel like you have no more time left. When you are in the ICU and the doctor says there's no more time left. When they're threatening you with imprisonment and you feel like your time is paused. Time factor. One of the ways the enemy will try to take you away from the Lord is by fear, putting fear in your heart with time. You feel like your time was lost. The sense of uselessness, sense of unworthiness. You feel like you wasted decades. Don't allow the enemy to make you feel unworthy. But I have to use this from my father. He was teaching something powerful regarding time. How the enemy will always put that fear regarding time. And you see that in the way you respond to your problems. The fear of time being gone, that time has been lost. But yet, He is the God who made time. And He said this something so profound. He said, you cannot go into your past and correct some things that happened in your past. But there are some things in the past you can still correct. My mind was blown. Did you hear me? Yes. People say you can't change your past. You can only change your present and your future. But he said, there are some things in your past you can change. He said, the things that you have currently with you from the past are the things that you are able to change. Are you following what I'm saying? When something happened in the past, there were some things that was out of your control that you don't have with you today. But if you go back into that moment in your past, there were some things that from that past you still have with you today. For example, either your ignorance, or lack of understanding, something that you didn't have then. Now you brought it to your present. But now you are still affected by your past trauma because of a certain ignorance you had during that time. So you're carrying your past even today without being healed. So what you can do as a child of God is you can correct that lack of ignorance that you have today. So what happens is that you are now indirectly healing your past. Did you get what I'm saying? Certain incident happened. When that incident happened, there was a certain fear in your heart, certain trauma in your heart, certain brokenness in your, certain ignorance in your heart that caused that event to happen. Now you've carried it forward, and the same ignorance is what is hurting you. Same fear is what is still hurting you. So you're carrying your past from the last season. But when you start working on your fear, when you start working on your ignorance, when you start working on your helplessness, you're able to go back and correct some things from your past. So certain things from your past has no more power today. You can stand today and heal your yesterday. Woo! That is so profound. But she's trying to say, we have no time. We have no time. And she goes on to push that. If I should have, say I have hope, even if I should have a husband this night and should bear sons, would you therefore wait till they were grown? My God, she's so convincing. She's saying that even if I accidentally have a child, are you waiting for 20 more years for this guy to grow? By then you are 60. She's trying to bring logic of hopelessness. Don't let the enemy sell you the logic of hopelessness. If you are writing this in a notes, write it and highlight it and capitalize it and circle it and underline it 2 times. Don't let the enemy sell you the logic of hopelessness. Oh, the return of the Lord is coming. I'm a sinner anyway. I might as well as do this more. No. Stop it in Jesus' mighty name. Don't let the enemy cause you to feel so hopeless that you now become prayerless. And then she goes, would you therefore wait? You see how the enemy works? The enemy is sowing a seed. Don't wait. Don't wait. Would you what? Rather wait. Would you wait? In other words, she's saying you won't be able to wait, right? Impatience is the way the enemy will separate you from Jesus. Write that down. Impatience is the way the enemy will separate you from Jesus. Impatience. I want my miracle now. I want my husband now. I want my blessings now. I need my money now. You're not willing to go through the process. You don't want to die. You don't want to work hard. You don't want to mature. You want it now. That is what the prodigal said. Give me my inheritance now. And that is where destruction comes. You don't want to wait. You see how the enemy wants to sell you hopelessness. Refuse to. And he's saying, are you going to wait? And the next thing, would you therefore refrain from marrying? Refrain. Oof, my God. Another temptation in our generation is our inability to refrain. Huh? The enemy is asking, are you guys going to really refrain till, like, really? Are you saying that like even for socializing you won't even drink a little bit of alcohol? Like, really? Are you really going to refrain? That's the temptation to our generation. Are you really going to tell the devil, no, my eyes are on something greater. It is not the temporary pleasures that I'm looking for. I'm looking for eternal gain. Choose eternal gain over temporary pleasure. Eternal gain. To walk like Enoch. What you are looking for by refraining today, when your cravings are burning and you really want to act it out, and you really want to have pleasure like those in the world, and you refrain yourself, what you're doing is you are hatching inside. And you're about to come out, transformed like a beautiful butterfly. And you are going to be transfigured. And the light of God is going to be seen on you. When you pray, it will be heard in heaven at a different dimension. When you talk, things will begin to move. Are you listening to what I'm saying? There is a kind of authority that comes to a child of God when you begin to respond to the Spirit. Are you listening? And you will begin to see such an authority when you refrain and not give into the thoughts and the desires of the enemy. Before the return of the Lord Jesus Christ, I promise you, people of God, the kind of desires will multiply. The kind of temptations, whatever you thought was temptations today, will be nothing compared to what the enemy is planning in the days to come. Are you following what I'm saying? So for you, you're like, oh, I've seen it all. No, hold on. No. What the enemy has in store to our generation is unseen levels. But when you practice refraining, your spiritual authority is going to increase. Say, Lord, I practice refraining. You don't need to masturbate when your body tells you to. Receive the grace for self-control. You don't need to sin when your body tells you to sin. Receive the grace of self-control. Father, I pray you would elevate your children today. Everyone who is sincerely praying all around the world, receive this grace. Let your spiritual power increase. Let your spiritual authority increase. Father, let the glory of God hit your children right now. And then she goes on to say, no, my daughters, for it is exceedingly bitter to me for your sake that the hand of the Lord has gone out against me. My God, the deception multiplies. The enemy will try to deceive you by saying that God is against you. That one, most people will not survive. If the enemy can convince you that God is against you, if the enemy can convince you that God doesn't have a plan to prosper you, if the enemy can convince you that you are an enemy of God, then something inside of you will say, then I might as well go ahead and be an enemy. You're asking how deception will happen, how people will fall away. This is the way. This is the way. My God. What happens? I want you to answer in your head. If the enemy comes to you and tells you guys that God is against you, will you still serve him? You say God is not for you. You have to be prepared that the enemy will plant these kind of lies inside your head that God is not for you. How many of you have already felt that in your life before? You've already felt that. You had these thoughts. Maybe God is really upset with me and he's going to punish me now. That's the deception. Oh, she's saying, oh, the hand of God is against me. Why would you stay with me anymore? She's giving them the proof. Look at my life. There is that death, this death. My husband died. Your husband died. The other husband died. She's saying, God is against me. The hand of the Lord is against me. It takes a rooted child of God to have death number 1, death number 2, death number 3, and stay rooted. And say, oh, even the sword or a death cannot take me away from the love of Jesus. No famine, no sword, no death shall separate us from the love of Christ. So no matter what comes, I will not doubt the love of Jesus. Open your mouth and say, no matter what happens in my life, no matter who dies, no matter how painful, I shall not doubt my God. All over the world, open your mouth and say, I shall not doubt the goodness of God. I shall not doubt His grace on my life. I am still loved. I am still loved. No matter what happens around me, no matter what happens in my family, no matter what happens anywhere around me, I am loved by Jesus. Say it out louder, I am loved by Jesus. Take 30 seconds, clap your hands and love Jesus. Express your love to Him. Be rooted. I said be rooted.
Thank you for watching Revive Nations with Shyju Mathew. Subscribe to the Revive Nations YouTube channel to listen to life-changing prophetic sermons. These full sermons are now available to you at the tip of your finger. Download the Shyju Mathew app on iOS and Android to access the full sermon library. Bonus content. Enjoy the exclusive Mentorship Gold teachings for pastors and leaders. Follow Prophet Shyju on Instagram for more information and stay up to date when we visit a city near you. Unlock a revolutionary way to connect with God through the Pray Now app. Transform your prayer experience by seamlessly recording your prayer requests, thoughts, and moments of gratitude. As a companion on your spiritual journey, chart your daily walk with God in a deeply personal and meaningful way. Join a global community of believers by downloading Pray Now on your iOS and Android devices.
Distance is not a barrier to God. ReviveNations.tv is now open to live participation to our services.